Hey guys, so Crystal Stokes here, and this is a series where I'm going to take you on a journey with my client Erica Martin, and we're going to talk about how we met, everything that's happened since we've been together, and give you that insider's look of what it's like to work together. Erica.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this, and Crystal and I have been working together for just shy of a year, and it's been really amazing. I mean, I'm really excited and honestly a little nervous to share some of the journey and the transformation, but it's all part of the process, and that's why I'm here. So wherever you want to start, I'm good.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to start with where you were when we first met. Erica is a badass female entrepreneur, was killing it in life. And so when I met her, she had a lot of things going on, and I just think it'd be cool to share with everybody where you were and where you had been that led up to us meeting.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give just kind of a brief history of my journey, and then, not let me tell you about my childhood, we're not going there, but at least not yet.
That's coming, don't worry.
Oh yes. But I'll tell you about my kind of entrepreneurial journey, because I know that a lot of people who might be watching this are probably maybe on some kind of a similar path. So I started my first business when I was 18 years old, and it was actually a martial arts school, which was really strange for a young, short, blonde girl. But long story short, I ran that school very successfully for 8 years, and started from zero, from nothing, and busted my ass to make it successful, and it became one of the top 1% of 1% in the entire world in the martial arts industry. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get into it in another video and later, but that was a very, it was a beautiful, wonderful journey, but also super painful, very damaging, but that'll be for another video.
Right.
So I turned that company over to my family, which is a whole nother story. Started from zero again, launched an online consulting company, and that company became super successful. Within I'm in the sales realm now, so I'll tell you a little bit about that too, but within the first 8 weeks of us launching, we made 6 figures in sales, and within the first 2 years of myself and my business partner working together, we became the top consulting company for after school and summer camp programs in the martial arts industry. Yeah, it was pretty, on paper, right? It's I guess pretty awesome, but
awesome.
But it's I guess what we're here today to talk about is really kind of the behind the scenes. So I told you all the good stuff, so I guess we'll be a little vulnerable here.
The juicy parts.
Yeah, and I'll share, when I met Crystal. So when I met Crystal, I had just sold my equity in that second company I told you about. So on the outside, what everybody else saw was here's this girl who's, built 2 very successful, multiple 6-figure, approaching 7-figure businesses from scratch. She's sold 2 businesses before she's 30. Life must be awesome, and in a lot of manners of speaking, it was really awesome, but there were things that inside of me that I just was not addressing that needed to be addressed, and those were some of the things that were really preventing me from living a happy and full life that I really wanted. So she caught me at the right time. Don't know if any of you can relate to that, but but when people come into your life, maybe even some of you guys watching this are watching this for a reason, because you're seeking something, and I was too. So when I met Crystal, I just instantly connected with her, and she was really the only one that saw the pain that was going on inside of me. So at the same time I sold my company, I was launching a new company. So I was in hardcore work mode again, not resting, and then lots of stress, and and frankly some fear too, because it's I just let go of one rope, one income source, and then it's what rope do I hold on to next?
Right.
So I'm in this in-between area. I had just put my dog down that I loved with my whole heart. And for the first time in my life, honestly, I was feeling what depression felt like, because I typically have a pretty sunshiny disposition.
Definitely.
Yeah, so then that was where we started things with Crystal, and I kind of saw her messaging. I really resonated with who she was. I honestly wasn't quite sure how she could help me.
Yeah. Yeah, there was skepticism there in the beginning. Like, really, like, how is this going to help? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was not the easy buy-in, to be honest. Like, it took me a while to trust her expertise, and maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure which direction you want to go, but like, there are several different areas of trust we built around like body image and burnout and, other relationships. Yeah. So, where do you want to go next, do you think?
Well, I think it'd be interesting to know more about where you had been before this in terms of things you had tried to help yourself.
Yeah.
Because these things that we've been working on had actually been a part of your past for a really long time, and you've just been quietly suffering with them. And I see that a lot, and people that come to work with me, is that they look amazing on the outside, like they're killing it in life. They have the smile on all the time, but inside it's like, this is not working. And many people have sought out solutions just like you did. Like, you were always trying to figure out how you can really feel complete and whole and good, like inside and out, but those things only took you but so far, and I think that'd be good to share that with everybody.
Definitely. Well, I think my big kind of thorn in my side, that like where she hooked me was around body image stuff. That was the one area that I just could not seem to tackle. And like, to give you some context about this, like when it comes, and again, like I feel like the more people I talk to about this, the more that everybody's like, oh my God, me too. So maybe those of you watching are resonating with this, but I had tried everything. So I came from a background, I grew up, like I said, in martial arts. My dad was a world champion, and a part of our martial arts school actually was a gym. So both of my parents were personal training certified. I was the only kid in middle school that knew how many calories were in a gram of fat, protein, and carbohydrates.
In middle school? That is insane.
In middle school, right?
Yeah.
And like, I was indoctrinated at that point. That was the point in time, because I was born in the 80s, so that was the like low fat craze. So like 9 grams of 9 calories in fat is like bad, and like we don't eat fat, like yeah, so
lies.
I heart fat.
Definitely.
Yeah, so like I had this whole like really interesting journey for fitness. So then, from the time I was 12 to 26, I actually ended up struggling with an eating disorder that was both psychological and physiological. I had some physiological stuff going on that I had since I was a little kid. And I finally, decided to tackle that when I was 26 years old. I was in other therapy for like 4 years, and it got me to a certain point, right? Like, it got me to stop the eating disorder behavior. So I'm like, okay, cool, I've tackled it. But that doesn't mean that I wasn't doing the paleo diet. It doesn't mean that I wasn't like not eating carbs. It doesn't mean that I wasn't looking at every, I ate protein bars one point, to the point that like I cannot eat another protein bar ever in my life.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 18 years old, I like had this super strict 1,200 calorie diet. And I don't remember exact amounts, but it was like, there was like 1 slice of toast and cottage cheese for breakfast.
So sad.
Like protein bars throughout the day, and like that, like it was like really awful.
Yeah.
So, I felt like, when I met you, I was just like, I knew what I knew. Like I knew all the things that didn't work, and I was not like really ready to listen to somebody else. But you really kind of opened my eyes to like a new way of doing things, honestly.
That's pretty much what I do. I'm here to illuminate the things that may be kind of hidden in the shadows. And, like Erica's journey is really, really common, where she tried various approaches. Like, she had been on every diet. She had been like immersed in the health and fitness scene. She'd even had 4 years of therapy, and that primed her to be ready for the work that we were going to do. But it was just a stepping stone. Yeah. We actually had to spend a lot of time unlearning some of the things that you had learned, right? Yeah. And that's something we'll get into in much more detail, but that's really the genesis of what led us to work together. She already valued psychology. She'd already had some experience with the profound transformation of having therapy. Yeah. And what we were going to do together is simply turn the heat way up on that. Like, take therapy and just light it on fire and add in a whole bunch of action and accountability.
Yeah.
And really internally focused self-awareness has been a big part of that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So I have to tell you guys, this is what hooked me on Crystal, because I was still seeing my therapist when she and I connected. I remembered what it was.
Right.
And this is what did it. I don't even know if you know this.
I don't know.
So I was still seeing my therapist when she and I connected. So again, I was like, well, I'm getting support, like what else can you offer me? I was a little
She's such a Taurus, right? Look at that stubborn streak.
I was like, but I was nice about it, like I wasn't a dick about it. But I was just like, oh, thanks, So anyway, Crystal offered to do this tracker with me. Like, that was kind of our first introduction to working together, and one of the stepping stones in the work with her. So I was like, okay, cool. So she, sent me this tracker, which was like really amazing. I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is intense. Like,
Yeah.
And she had asked me to fill it out on a daily basis as a part of the program. And I've done lots of programs before, and I've had lots of coaching before, both in business and personal. So naturally I didn't fill it out the first day. And then I get a message from Crystal that's like, hey, about that tracker you're supposed to fill out. And I had never had somebody reach out to me like that. Like, that's what hooked me. I was like, oh man, like, she really cares. And like, that was consistent throughout. Like, to this day, if I don't fill out my tracker, I'll get a little birdie reminder.
That's right. So I love that you brought that into this, Erica, because a big part of the work that I do is about integrity. I only take on clients that I know I can help, and I only take on a certain number of clients so I can offer them that individualized one-on-one attention and really be there. Like, accountability is huge.
It's true.
And then the tracker is one of the super components of this, which is, a way of me really being with you day to day and knowing what your life is like on the inside. Because it's not really helpful, as you've experienced, when you just meet with somebody one time a week for an hour, as if that's supposed to let the coach know what's really happening inside of you, to get this Cliff's Notes version of spill it and then we're done.
Yep.
So ineffective. Like, the way I developed this approach that I used with you was also for myself. Like, what worked for me? What do I wish I could have had through my own process, rather than spending $100K in my education, maybe a little more, and all of the years of therapy and training that I've done myself and continuing education? How can I condense that into something that we can do together that's actually super effective and takes a whole hell of a lot less time and a hell of a lot less money?
Yeah.
So we could go on forever about all of this, but I think what we're going to do is wrap it up for today. What do you think we should talk about next time?
Oh, what do I think? Gosh.
On your story.
On my story, well, I think a natural progression would be, we talked about kind of today, just set the scene of like where I was in my life professionally and personally, and gosh, this is going to be quite the journey for me too, now that I'm thinking about it.
A little vulnerable.
Yeah, okay, here's to growth, right? Woo-hoo! Like, we're all growing together. So I think next time, maybe we can tackle the action plan that you set forth for me, in starting to heal some of like the body image stuff that like literally I thought that I had done everything. Like, I was so sure. So I think it'd be really interesting because your approach is so different. Like, it's like nothing I've ever seen before, and I think that would be really interesting.
Yep, that was our starting point. So we'll go into body image next, and like, I'll just give you another little peek as well, is that it actually ended up unfolding into every other part of life. Like, body image and food is oftentimes just a metaphor for something much bigger, and you'll notice that it shifts around to things like relationship and how we show up in our work. So if those are of interest to you as well, then just hang on, because we're definitely going to go there. It's all tied together. But next time we see you, we'll be talking more about the body image component.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.